Lasha, hi. I am so freaking excited to interview you today. I've been waiting for this and I'm not going to waffle on too much at all because I know everyone wants to hear from you. So, can you tell us, in your own words, the challenge you were facing when you decided to join Unshakeable You?
Absolutely. After my second child, I ended up with a grade 3 rectocele prolapse and a grade 1 cystocele prolapse. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. And how
Uh,
long had you had those?
2 years, believe it or not. So,
Right.
with my first, I had a low grade rectocele,
Mhm.
and I was able to heal it through exercise, pelvic floor physio. And so
Yeah.
I kind of slugged it out for 2 years looking for programs,
Mhm.
following somebody, and then you ended up being interviewed by them. And as soon as I
Yeah.
heard the interview, I was like, okay, this is the approach, because if I know that I could heal this myself physically, if it were able to heal that way. But it just after 2 years of consistent work, and I'm very familiar with physical healing, it just is like, okay, I had kind of hit that point of I've plateaued, it's not shifting, but I know that this isn't the end. It's not reality. It can't, my body is more capable than this. So I've hit a bump and
Mhm.
I don't have the information that I need to figure out how to shift this.
Yeah.
And then when you started talking about it being an emotional thing at root, I was like, because I don't have that link directly with this. So you had that little piece, and I was like, that's what I need.
Got it. I love it. Thank you so much for explaining. And can you just tell everyone how you were feeling before you came into the program? Because obviously this has such a huge emotional component, right?
Oh yeah. It impacted every aspect of my life. I
Mm.
used to be very physically active, and I couldn't be physically active like I wanted to be. So that was really, really hard. My relationship was impacted because after 2 years of trying to fix something, I had lots of symptoms that were quite uncomfortable. I
Yeah.
managed to train myself out of like really being reactive to them. However, I would still have days where I'd feel really down, and that impacted my relationship. Obviously, there were other areas of my relationship that were impacted. So it was really, I felt fairly resigned. I had kind of resigned myself because I hadn't found any program that I thought would give me the results. I didn't feel it. It just, they were very wishy washy. Well, try this for, this long, and you may find a result. And I was like, that's not good enough. That's not conviction. So I had just
Yeah.
kind of, okay, I know my body can do more. I don't have the answer. So this is life right now. And so it was really, I guess I was probably wallowing in a bit of like depression, to be fully honest. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for your transparency. And I think resigned is such an amazing word. No one's used that word so far, and that is really describes that situation. Thank you.
Mm.
And so I'm sure this is going to be a big answer, but how did working with Duncan and I and the group and Unshakable You positively impact you?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, can I just back up for 1 second and say,
You do whatever you want to do.
on
Yeah.
the intake call, when you were like, so once you fix your prolapse, once we do that, like, what would you like? And I was like, well, that's what I want. And you're like, well, that's going to happen. I was just like, and I got off the call and I was like, she just like disregarded it. Like that, I want that. That's what I want. And that's what I got. Like
Yeah.
it exactly that. So currently I have no cystocele and my rectocele is barely a 1. Like it's that. And it was the missing piece.
Yeah.
I did this doing predominantly the very first module exercises
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
meditation, sometimes only once a day.
Yeah.
And it just shifted all the things. So I really hunkered down and I got very raw and very honest and very vulnerable with myself about where I was really at, and allowed that to be okay. And it just has given me everything back. So everything feels possible and is possible. Um, I always like knew it was, but I couldn't quite figure out how to get my body to cooperate. And so
Yeah.
it's amazing. Yeah, it's gone. And if the barely grade 1 I know is okay. So I've got some low hanging emotional stuff to just kind of tweak, and I don't even think about it. In my reality, it's gone already. So yeah.
Oh my goodness, you're gonna get me crying.
Amazing. No symptoms, none. Period. Gone.
Wow. And let everybody know, I don't know, I know the date, but do you know how long you've been in the program? Because this is going to blow people's minds.
So, well, I stopped feeling symptoms probably at about 8 weeks, and I didn't have a checkup until the 12th week. And
Yeah,
so that's when it was actually confirmed.
3 months.
So at 8 weeks, I started to be like, hey, I have had symptomless days. And then I realized I had like nothing.
Yeah.
Um, and then I had, yeah, my appointment 12 weeks in. And
Yeah.
when she said it, I was like, are you sure you checked right?
Great. Yeah. Yeah. And it's so fantastic because we only ever share the stories by law, when people have actually had a specialist check. So that's great for everyone to know.
Yes. Yeah.
I know I'm going to get asked, so I'm going to sneak in a little extra question here, but I know people are going to ask me, how is Leisia so confident that that rectocele will fully go? Like, how does she get that kind of confidence?
Oh, I'm gonna try to be very concise. So I've
Mhm.
healed my body from some pretty major stuff.
Yes.
So I know how resilient my body is.
Hmm.
And I've always healed it through physical exercise and discipline and just being very taking the baby steps, going right back to ground zero and learning how to do things again.
Yeah.
Um, and it's always worked, except for this instance where I
Hmm.
had healed my previous prolapse with my first, and then it came back and worse with my second, and 2 years of doing the same thing that I knew.
Yeah.
Um, I knew that this program was the missing piece because I could feel it. I felt the truth in because I know that our bodies are vibration. We're all cells at its minutia. That's a vibration of energy. We're all energy. Energy's information. So
Hmm.
how do you get the body to go back to its stasis? And I had a pattern of getting very frustrated and angry, and I didn't understand why. And with all the work I've done, I've never been able to identify it and curb it.
Right.
And
Got
this
it.
program had the exact tools, and that was the exact thing that was keeping my body in that
Hmm.
constricted state and not progressing forward. So this program basically,
You're
I
good.
know it's gone because I know that I'm doing the emotional work, and I know that I've thrown
Right.
myself into it and committed to it. So nothing stands in my way. I don't get embarrassed when I have to do an anger release in front of my kids. They think it's funny.
Yeah.
So I do that. Even Lee, first time I was self-conscious, like, no, he can't stand between me and my healing. Nobody can. Neither I won't let myself stand in between me and my healing. So I'm not going to get embarrassed and feel silly because that's a waste of my time. This works.
Yeah.
The conviction you answered me with was just what Jenny says I'm doing. If she says go left, I'm going left. I don't care what I think about it or if I believe it. She
Yeah.
said left, I'm doing left. She said use the deactivate box. I don't necessarily believe it, but I'm doing it diligently. And
Yeah.
that and then you start to see. I started to see, oh, okay, this is actually training, and I get it. It's training my brain. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm releasing this. And then and so I know that it works and it's working.
I'm so glad you explained it that way, and that was so clarifying because when people ask, well, why do some people heal, and why do some people not? You just follow the process, which is why if you just follow it, it's tried, it's tested, it worked on me, it worked on others, it will always work on you. So yeah, thank you for saying that. Um, okay, what would you say are some results you got that you weren't expecting? So what were some surprising results?
Oh, surprising results. There's been a few. Let me just sink in.
Yeah, take your time.
I think the most gratifying result was to actually tackle the frustration,
Yeah.
the and to shift it. So surprising results. I started this program. I have 2 young kids. My husband's away at work a lot. I have pets. We travel to so that we can see him if he's working out of town. So it's very full, my schedule. I homeschool. Um, and I would get very frustrated and angry about not having any space for me or not having time. And with the processes, I've been able to not even I found time finds me, but just work on that level of anger and resentment, which has opened up so much space. And I don't mean that like in the physical sense, I mean just emotional relief. Um, I don't have the episodes of going and feeling rage anymore that I used to judge and I used to not understand. 'Cause I'm like, that's so silly. Like it's, that's nothing to get angry about. Why am I so angry? But I couldn't deny, okay, well, I'm really angry.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so that was, I guess, huge is that. Um,
Yeah, really huge.
yeah, it just lightens everything. It impacts everything. So I didn't realize that I had my relationship with my family actually was a big
Mm.
surprise. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
So yeah, out of the blue, I've had family members approach me and ask me for help, which I mean, I've been kind of doing a personal healing journey for like 2 decades, I guess.
yeah,
And I just, like I love them and I respect their journey. So I've never been like, do this, or I just did this, come and try this. I'm always just, they
sure.
ask. They don't really ask, so it's all good. But
Yeah.
yes, that was amazing. And not only
Wow.
ask, but like we have check-ins now and he's accountable and he's doing everything,
Wow.
which
Oh my
was
goodness.
yeah, it's like, oh my God, that's amazing. So
That
that
must
was,
feel so satisfying.
yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Because obviously I love and want to help all of my family, but you can't make anybody do the work. They have to
No.
want it. And so that was amazing. And that was very satisfying. That was very cool.
Oh, that's so great. I kind of want to ask you about the future. So, you've got this teeny little bit of the rectus here, which I'll do that again. We'll just heal, of course. Now you're doing that. um, so what's next? You've healed. You are feeling balanced emotionally. That resentment, that anger has gone. You've got tools. Yeah, I'm sure everyone would love to hear what your plans for the future are, maybe with your physical body and
Yeah, so well, before kids, I loved playing outside. I like being in my body. So I want to get back into bodybuilding because I loved that, which surprised me.
wow.
I love lifting weights.
Yes.
So
Well,
that is happening because I really enjoy that. Um,
yes.
I out of all the gear that I've ever, all the sports, I kept my mountain bike. So I'm excited to see if I still love them. I'm not entirely sure. Weights for sure.
Yeah.
Mountain biking, if I get back on and it still feels that same amazing, then I'm excited for that to come back in.
Wow. And you live in the
Um,
perfect place to do that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, I've always wanted to have my own business. I've always wanted to do that, even when I was out of high school, but I never, what would I sell? What would I do? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
very excited for that piece because it feels not only possible, it feels
Mm-hmm.
real. And that's
Yeah.
never been the case before, ever, 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 ever. Like I've always like I admire people who have never had a job and they just make it work. I've never been able to
Yeah.
do that. Now I see that that's not only possible but
Mm-hmm.
it's plausible. It's
Mm-hmm.
happening, so it's going to happen in whatever expression is going to happen, and I'm excited for that. So yeah, getting back and playing in my body, being with my kids, maybe even running again. I'm not sure. I used to run,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll see. I'm excited about weights, so that's where I'm probably going to lean first.
Oh, thank you. And I love hearing that, via this process, you've now got that confidence to move forward with your dreams, right? And sometimes we don't have that anger and resentment is in the way for us to be able to feel confident enough to go and do that. So
Yeah, well, yeah, and also the time scarcity thing, like that, like
mm,
feeling like I had no space, no time, no me, and now
yeah,
it's just I see how much time I actually have and how my kids are with me on the journey and can be right beside me as I do things. And it's
yeah,
really fun. And we have a flow to our day and it just
yeah.
all feels open and possible. And I'm not kind of crunchy about it anymore. Yeah.
Wow. Oh
Or
my goodness.
insecure. I'm not as insecure. And that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
Mhm.
that's incredible. Thank you for sharing. So my final question is, what would you tell somebody who maybe for a while has been thinking about working with us, but is a bit nervous about moving forwards?
Oh my goodness. I would say that I get the nervousness and it's going to be the best thing that you ever do, and throw yourself all in.
Yeah.
Trust the directions. And if
Mhm.
there's an exercise that comes as recommended, Jenny said in the beginning, like anger release is going to be your best friend. I'm like, all right, anger release is my best friend.
I
All
love
right.
it.
So if
Yeah.
do it, hands down, absolutely do it. But if you're going to do it, do it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the exercises are actually quite fun and they're very liberating
Hmm.
in
Yeah.
all the senses of the term, physically, emotionally. Like you're going to get the results and so much more.
Oh, wow. Well, that's just wonderful to listen to. You're making my day here. And would you just finish off by telling everybody about because it goes beyond Duncan and I, way beyond Duncan and I and the community, all the other incredible women that you get to hang out. Would you talk about these amazing women and their support?
I just to be concise, they're amazing. It's like a super supportive group over something that can feel really embarrassing, or that like I felt quite embarrassed and I had quite a bit of shame. And
Yeah.
there's nothing but love and support and full transparency about all the topics
Yeah.
in such a loving way. It's amazing. Like the group, they rally for everybody. They always have such positive, amazing perspectives. And it's not like, it's genuine. It's
Mm.
genuine love and support, which feels so good. And everybody knows because everybody's dealing with the
Yeah.
same thing in some way, shape, or form. So everybody's familiar with the experience. So there's that level of knowing and compassion. There's deep,
Hmm.
deep empathy and love. And it's invaluable. Yeah, because not only does the program work, but the community just gives you that you can actually just breathe because they
Yeah.
get it and they're going
Yeah.
through it. So they know how crappy it is at times and how
Hmm.
shitty you feel and how
Mm.
awful emotionally it can feel in only the way that someone going through it can or has gone through it can. And then to see the people and see them hit their milestones and see them heal or hear the healing stories, and then it makes it possible. And so then you get the momentum of like, wow, if they can do it and they can do it and they can do it, I certainly can too. That's if they
Yes.
had access to exactly this and this is what they
Hmm.
did, then I got this.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we close?
Just thank you. I love that you guys decided this is your niche because it didn't exist before and it was so,
Mm.
so, so necessary. I don't know if I saw your first interview. I'd like to think that I did because like I just that's it.
Yeah.
That's what I've been waiting for. And just I love it.
Yes.
You and Duncan are phenomenal and I love Duncan's presence is amazing. It's so good.
Yeah.
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 It's
The one male.
the one male in the sea of women, and it's and
Yeah.
dealing with all the big things, and he handles it so eloquently and really lovely, and
Yeah.
so that is beautiful as well. And just thank you guys so much. It's like changed my life. You're changing lives, and the work is so needed.